Good morning and welcome to our interactive discovery on how to get ISO certification ready in the next 30 days. Firstly, while we're waiting for a few more people to enter the room, can you please let us know how you heard about us? Helps us to know how to reach more people just like yourself. All right, we'll get started today. Now, interactive discovery, we'll be covering three real key areas. The first one's about the ISO certification process. The second's about the ISO requirements and how Focus IMS helps you meet those requirements. And step three, we'll start to define your scope, which is the first step in the certification process. And then we'll offer you a 2-week free trial when you've completed, and that will help you get started on step 2. If you can please complete the interactive questions as we work through this discovery, we'll populate that information straight into your free trial, so you're ready to get started into step 2 straight away, and we'll send you some login details once the presentation is complete. Please ask any questions you have in the chat and we'll get them answered promptly. So why get certified? Probably one step before that is really asking about what standards you're looking to get certified to. In most cases, we're talking about ISO 9001, which is quality, ISO 45001, which is safety, and ISO 14001, which is environmental. If you select in the interactive box which standards you're looking to get certified for, then we can certainly help you down the path for that. Sometimes people are also looking for ISO 27001, which is the information security standard as well. Let me know if that's the case for you. So the challenge for many businesses is that in government and local council contracts, there's a requirement for certification. Basically, they normally would go through a tender process. Most councils have a requirement where if the annual services requested is over that $150,000 per annum, it's required to go to tender. And then if it's required to go to tender, it's then up to the council or the government to decide whether they're going to make the standards either preferred or a requirement. Lots of businesses will also go through that certification process to streamline their processes, make them consistent, and then have them checked by your certifying body so that they can pass that information on to their clients and they can be satisfied that they're meeting the requirements. Gives you peace of mind as well to know that your business is managing all of its compliance requirements. All right, so on to the ISO certification process. So the certification process starts with firstly deciding on your scope, then running through our setup process and getting all the records in that you need to. The next two steps we often do fairly close together. Step 4 is an internal audit. That's where we'll check that all your records are in there correctly, and the business planning and management review. So they're fairly large parts of the standard, and we offer a certification package to help you meet those requirements in that we will do them with you and for you. Then we're on to stage 1 of your certification audit. So this is where your certification provider typically will have a look to see if you have the policies and procedures in your system to show that you meet the requirements of the standards. Stage 2 of the certification audit, that will cover off on have you got records to show that you're following those processes more commonly. And this is the point where you'll be certified, if you've got everything in place. After that, normally you'll maintain the compliance bar, and we'll show you a little bit more about how that works. We've we've set it up on a really simple traffic light system to make it easy for you to work out what you need to do to comply. And then we go through basically the same processes we have in step 3 and step 4, the business planning management review and the internal audit process. And then your certification provider will come and do a surveillance audit each year after that. Now, stepping right down into the parts of Focus IMS that help you meet the ISO requirements. Firstly, we'll run through what the clauses are. So section 4 is about the context of the organisation. So this is really your business planning part of the process. Section 5 is about leadership and management commitment. Section 6 is about planning actions and plans and how you're going to achieve them. Section 7 is around support. So sometimes in this area we have people who have not applicable clauses in the standard. This forms part of your scope as well. So quite often these look like design, and so if your business doesn't do any design, pop design down as a not applicable clause. And if your business doesn't have anything that requires calibration, that's another really common one that we see as identified as not applicable. Section 8 is all about your operations, so how you deliver products and services to your customers. Section 9 is performance evaluation, so we're looking at how are we going on delivering those products and services, how are we going at keeping our compliance bar up to date, and as well as internal audit and management review. Section 10 is all about improvement. If you answer the question about your not applicable clauses, we'll include that as already set up when we set you up for a free trial. The next section we're going to look at is section 8, operations. So I have many businesses who are already using software to purely manage their operations, and that's perfectly fine. If that's your case, then select that your operation in the interactive box that operations are you're currently using other software for. If you can also fill in what industry you're in, that helps us as well to scope out exactly which areas of the system you need to fill in and what sort of records should be in those. If you're not already using some software to manage your projects and jobs, then you might find Focus IMS is a really good solution for you. We've tried to keep it as simple as possible, but also meet the requirements. So basically the status is how we have operational planning control. We follow the projects through the status. We have options if your projects are recurring projects such as cleaning, and if your project's bigger and requiring some project planning, we can do some task scheduling in there as well. Our status change log records all of your changes, so you have some control over all those changes. If you've got any questions, pop them in the chat box. The next area we'll have a look at is personnel management. And really, this is scalable. Pop in the box how many employees you have, and then we can tailor that to suit your needs. We have businesses from everything from 1 employee to up around that 250, 300 mark. Basically, when we add your employees, if you're using MYOB or 0, we can sync those. If you've got a list in Excel, we can certainly import those as well. That's the first part. So section 5.3 covers off roles, responsibilities and authorities. So we have an area to set up job descriptions. Section 7.2 covers competence. 7.3 is awareness. We have an induction for you that you can tailor to suit exactly how your business works, and a training matrix to to prove or provide evidence of competence. The next area is supplier management, and for most people they will have suppliers. They might be subcontractors, they might be training providers, they might be asset maintenance suppliers. There's probably very few cases that don't have suppliers. If you don't have suppliers, mark that off on the interactive box, and then we can take that section off for you so that it doesn't look like it's incomplete. The requirements for suppliers, we need to have some information on those external providers. We've got space to fill that in. We normally do a supplier assessment where we'll, depending on the supplier type that you select, there's a different set of questions that you can run through and verify that your suppliers have everything they need. You then come back and select who's the manager that's approved them and an approved date, and basically this forms your approved supplier list. This is under section 8.4 of the ISO requirements. The next area we'll have a look at is asset management. This is covered in section 7 in support. Basically, we add all our assets in here. We then record what their programmed maintenance requirements are, is an annual registration or a calibration. And then we can add in any documents or manuals. So whether it's a service manual you have for that piece of equipment, we can add those straight in there. And we add the maintenance records as maintenance is performed. So if you select something requires an annual registration, then you'll expect to see an annual registration record here. Then it will automatically calculate when that registration is next due. If you have assets that require pre-starts or asset maintenance, you can put the little asset QR codes on each of your assets. Employees can scan them and they can put in a request for asset maintenance. So the next part that we'll cover off is the risk management. So risk management has a couple of different sections. The first section is under section 6.1.2, which is hazard identification and risk assessment. We have a hazard register. We have a master one, and basically from that master we can select which ones are applicable for your business. You can certainly customize and add any other ones in there that you feel we might not have on our list, and that becomes your hazard register. Anything that we identify as a significant hazard, we would normally add that into your business